8/18. June is Men's Health Month, and men, that does include getting your eyes checked. I know sometimes people skip that, but here with why it's so important not to is Dr. Nathaniel Roland with Eye Associates of New Mexico. It's good to have you this morning, Doctor. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's talk first about your practice, Eye Associates. I'm sure you see a lot of people, but you'd probably like to see more too in the office.
Always, always. And it's a great thing. You know, we love to take care of the people of New Mexico. Our whole focus is trying to make sure that when it comes to eye care, there's available care for everyone.
Why is eye care and eye health so important, particularly in this month with men?
Particularly, eye care is important because when you're talking about the system or your entire body, it's very hard for someone to realize that the eyes contain every tissue in the body except for bone and cartilage. And we do have a little bit of cartilage in the eyelids or bone around the eye. So every possible system can have a relation or an impact inside the eye.
That makes sense. For men specifically, is there a reason why men should come in and do it?
Yes. When you get your eyes checked, it's one of the few times that you can find out whether or not you're at risk for vascular conditions, things such as stroke, there are precursors, diabetic issues, and sometimes other systemic conditions as far-ranging as sarcoid, lupus, and rheumatoid arthritis.
I'm type 1 diabetic, so I go in at least once a year, and this is a good indication for me to know how am I doing with blood sugar, right? And I've had this for many years, almost 20 years now, and in order to keep it in check, you really have to know. You have to have a visible look at everything across your body.
Every possible structure, and I can tell you that both your primary care physician and your endocrinologist are going to be very proud of you.
Well, I hope so. I'm not trying to brag, but I will say it's important. That's a good indicator, right, of how you're doing in the back of the eye. All right, some other implications for your health if you don't decide to do this. You said stroke.
Yes, stroke is a big one, and all vascular conditions. You know, when we talk about the overall care of the eyes, one of the things you have to remember is that we're dealing with very fine blood vessels. So we have an opportunity to see changes very early compared to the rest of the body. One of the general examples I'll give to my patients is that if you compare the vessels in your eye to the rest of your body, it would be like comparing a coffee stirrer to the arroyos that we see in the rest of Albuquerque. So any small thing that would plug those vessels or lead to a problem, we see usually first.
If your eyes don't hurt, does it mean that you're fine?
No, as a matter of fact, that's probably the single most important thing that I have to remind my patients of, and particularly men. We're conditioned so that if we're not in pain, typically we think we're doing fine. But even after LASIK surgery, we always tell the patients you still need to have your eyes checked every year. And because the eye doesn't really have pain receptors, a lot of times by the moment that you see a problem or difficulty with your vision, it could be too late.
This is an interesting time of year for folks. Any ways to protect eyes over the course of the summer? When the sun seems to be brighter, right?
Indeed.
Or you're outdoors.
And especially here in our fair New Mexico, we typically recommend UV protection. Now, obviously, everybody thinks about sunglasses and eyeglasses that have UV protection or hats. You know, it's been derby season, so we see people wearing big hats, and baseball players wear them too. But yes, UV protection is critical.
Any specifics that you should be looking for other than that with sunglasses?
As a matter of fact, yes. And you know, when we're focusing on men, we have to remember that we all consider ourselves to be amateur athletes, and in some cases higher level. We want to get sunglasses that will not only protect our eyes from the UV, but also will not slip, will not start to fog up when you're playing. Obviously, you start to get sweaty, and that will keep you protected in all fields of gaze. And you'll notice the difference when you look at sunglasses in athletic eyewear stores.
June is Men's Health Month. We're glad to have Dr. Nathaniel Roland with Eye Associates of New Mexico. Thanks for the advice. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Don't go